Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining today's virtual conference. My name is Nishtha Jain, and I'm your host for today. Persevere, in association with SAP, is pleased to host this webinar with the theme SAP Intelligent Cloud ERP, a game changer in this digital age. First, let's take a look at what we will be discussing today. Please refer to the agenda being displayed on your screens. After the introductions, we start this interesting afternoon discussing a customer journey with Cloud ERP, where we have a fireside chat with Mr. Nilesh Sonavane from Gupshup Technologies. The next section is a deep dive into the features of Cloud ERP, where our expert shares more insights on the right solution for your business. The icing on the cake is the last section, where our SAP specialist will take you through business process automation and shed some light on business technology platform. Lastly, we will end the session with a Q&A round with the experts. Please note, we have planned something very special for all our participants today. Stay tuned until the end to find out about it. Now that we have set a promising agenda, I'd like to request everyone to go through the guidelines. We encourage you to drop all your questions in the Q&A box below, which will be taken up in the Q&A session. You can use the chat section to share your views too. A couple of tips here. We want to know you more. Hence, please mention your name and company name while dropping a question. You can also mention the name of the person you're directing the question to. So let me begin by introducing you to the eminent speakers of this section. Mr. Nilesh Sonavane, Senior Director of Finance at Gupshup. And Ms. Rajeshwari Bhattacharya, Global Head at Persevere. Let's kick at this fireside chat. Ms. Rajeshwari will indulge in a one-on-one conversation with Mr. Nilesh, who will share his first-hand experience of being on the Cloud ERP journey at Gupshup for more than 2 years now. Over to you, Raji.
Thank you, Nishtha. And I'm indeed glad to host this chat with Nilesh. Thank you. And Gupshup has always been ahead in terms of anything technology. And it's our pride and privilege that we have been part of the ERP journey, the cloud ERP journey with Gupshup. So thank you, Nilesh, for accepting our invitation. My first question to you is, what prompted you or what triggered the process of moving away from legacy into a cloud ERP, into an ERP solution?
So every business in its startup phase generates a lot of data. And what they're looking for at that particular point in time is that a system that sort of acts more like a database management system, right? The moment you move from the startup or launch phase to the growth phase,
right,
that's when obviously the data is important, but you need information, right? That will help take the informed decisions.
Correct.
To go to that or take on the challenges of the growth phase. Similar thing happened at Gupshup from the startup phase to the growth phase. The traditional ERP systems fell short of sort of enabling, right, the movement or the conversion of that data into information. That's when we were looking for a system which is intelligent enough, which will help us to sort of carry that journey with us from a database management to sort of processing it into the information. That's how we came across. We sort of explored a few options. SAP being the leader into sort of the intelligent systems that the businesses were looking for, we went straight away for SAP. And in SAP, there were those choices whether you want to go for on-prem or cloud. The thought process behind cloud was the data, which earlier used to reside on-prem, right, has now moved to cloud. Why not the systems also move to the cloud? That's how we opted for the cloud ERP systems of SAP.
Thank you, Nilesh. In fact, couple of insights for me is that you mentioned about the growth phase, and to keep pace with the growth, you had to upgrade your systems. And also the aspect that cloud ERP brings in terms of the agility, right? The elasticity, the agility. As you grow, there are far more other processes that you require. Your data sizing, you cannot keep upgrading your servers the elasticity is ensured in cloud ERP. So I can, I can completely understand where you're coming from. And now comes the next challenge for customers. Predominantly, they decide that they want to go in for a changeover or an overhauling of their systems. But there is this anxiety that during the implementation phase, there's a lot of investment of resource, in the sense, your team, you have lead managed the entire cloud ERP journey for Gupshup. So there is this anxiety that your team members will be on a project. How long will this project run? Typically, people are, kind of fed this information that it's a long drawn project, lot of investment in terms of time, energy, effort, and your resources have to double up and do things. So how was your implementation journey through the entire cycle, that, from deciding to then going live on a cloud ERP?
So we were helped by the SAP teams significantly as far as our journey from the initial sort of design phase to implementation phase. The traditional thought process is that ERP implementation takes years, right? The agility that was provided by the cloud ERP system was something that excited us. And my own experience, it was super fast. I never expected the systems to be up and sort of live within 4 months, right, of the discussions. That's how the journey was, and completely appreciate the Persevere and the SAP teams, right, who sort of took us through without much pain. The best thing about that journey was the agility, or the agile sort of system of implementation. There have been sort of few sort of people who have been against it, right? But then my own experience as far as the agile system is concerned, it was perfectly suitable. I think that's exactly what we were expecting from the system, to sort of start the journey with us, stay with us, and be there even, right, post implementation. That's how the entire process happened. We started the discussions, right? The best thing about cloud ERP is that they sort of are agile, flexible enough to understand. So the first thing is that to understand what exactly is expected out of this implementation project, the value that we want to add to the business, right, by having this system on board.
Correct.
Understanding of that value proposition, right, and then accordingly giving the solutions that suits ultimately to achieve that result. It's something that was completely different from my traditional experience of ERPs, which were the standard, right, ERP systems who sort of ask you to behave as they want, rather than what we experienced during the cloud ERP implementation, wherein the system understood what business wants and accordingly sort of modified itself to deliver the results.
I think that's very well taken, Nilesh. In fact, technology for business sake is always useful, and it's always successful. And thank you for appreciating our efforts as well. And we also realize that your involvement as senior management in driving the change within Gupshup has also been instrumental in kind of users adopting and not having too much of resistance. Now that the platform is set, you have an integrated cross-modular software in place, and your basic anxiety with respect to your financials, your interaction across functions, and all of that resolved. How are you looking at the next phase? Right, Gupshup is a very, very vibrant and very growing company, and I know you as a person, who's always on the move in terms of doing the next best thing. So, what do you have in mind in terms of the next steps for Gupshup?
So at Gupshup, the one value that we sort of give the most importance to is intelligence or invention, right? The moment you sort of hire a talent, right, what you look for in that talent is the intelligence that talent has would sort of enable the next level of growth for Gupshup. When we onboard the systems, it's the same value that we look at whenever we are finalizing the system. Whether the system is intelligent enough, right, to add to the value, right, proposition of the company. We spoke about data at the startup phase. We spoke about information at the growth phase. If you have to sort of go from good to great, right, it's the intelligence of that information. That's what sort of gives you or enables you to go to that level. And that's what is the expectation out of this system. And we knew from the beginning that this system is not just going to process the data into an information, but also sort of give some insights, some intelligent insights from that information that will help us to sort of take the company to the next level. And different modules of analytics, right,
Yeah.
that SAP has on offer. There are CRM, right? So that's how we look our processes or break our processes into the CRM, the legal systems, the accounting systems, and then the customer management or customer platforms.
Right.
The end-to-end integration through the intelligence of the SAP systems is what the vision of GupShup is, and that's where we have started our journey with you guys.
And there again, I think a very valid point that you kind of articulated, from data to information to intelligence. And the aspect that you put cross-modular and deriving the best out of the information that you already have. What next in terms of building operational efficiency? Are you looking at something like a robotic process automation? What are your thoughts around that? Being from especially lead managing the finance function, how do you look at the RPA journey for you?
So during this journey from data to information, we've come across many processes, right, that are sort of redundant, which are repetitive in nature, which sort of does not allow the resources to work on the intelligence part of the information bit. What we are trying to do is we are trying to identify those processes which can be automated through the use of bots or RPA processes. We would definitely like to implement them over here and remove those redundancies from the operations, so that the entire resources is free to sort of take up on the analytics part of it, and then generate the intelligence that will help the company to sort of take on the journey to the next level.
Sure. And any other demerits or anything that you would want to advise the participant on their cloud ERP journey?
I have not come across any demerits as such, right?
Okay.
What I have experienced is, as I said, a total implementation cycle of 8 to 12 weeks.
Right.
On paper is not just on paper. It was there for me to see that the transformation happened within 12 weeks dot. Right, we were live on the systems, and this agile sort of method of implementation, what it does is it not only helps mature the system developers, right, but it also sort of helps mature the users of the systems. Whatever traditional thought process that they might be having by using those traditional ERPs, right, this agile system helped me to do away with that thought process, right,
Okay.
adopt to the new technology, and simultaneously the systems were ready, the users were ready, right, day one of the go live, right date, and it was absolutely the way, or the results were as desired at the beginning of the process. So I would sort of recommend anybody who is thinking of sort of changing the systems, right, and taking on this digital transformation, to go for cloud ERP, right, as their solution.
Sure. Thank you for those insights, Nilesh. Indeed, I think you have a very large plan for GupShup, and we are as equally excited to be working with you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for your participation, and thanks for sharing your insights and your experience with the participants here.
Thank you. I would like to sort of use this platform to appreciate what you guys are doing, right, as far as taking the businesses and helping them during this digital transformation. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Nilesh. So over to you, Nishta. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Raji and Nilesh, for your time. This was really an interesting conversation. I mean, the journey that Gupshup has had is incredible. Thank you so much, Nilesh, for being here. Uh, so now let me remind all the participants to put any questions that you might have in the Q&A box below. All right. So now that you have learned more about Cloud ERP and how it benefits an organization, help us understand at what stage is your organization on the ERP journey. Please take a minute to answer the polls displayed on your screen. Thank you so much for all your responses. This is really an amazing audience. Now that now that you have learned more about Cloud ERP and how it benefits an organization, we have seen this journey from Gupshup and from the eye of the person who has adopted it. I'm sure there's an eagerness amongst all of us to learn more about the features and functionalities of Cloud ERP. Mr. Kunal Murpana, a Cloud ERP expert from Persevere, will help us take through a deep dive into what can be achieved through Cloud ERP. Before that, let's throw some light on Persevere. Let us introduce Persevere to you. Please have a look at this video. We are also happy to share that Persevere has bagged the title of SAP Business by Design Emerging Partner of the Year 2020. On that note, I'm passing on the baton to Mr. Kunal Murpana. Over to you.
Hello. Thank you, Nishta, for that, for the wonderful video and also for the introduction. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining in today. So let me just quickly share my screen, and I'll just walk you through as to why Cloud ERP, what are those factors that influence in selecting the right product and the right Cloud ERP, and followed by that, I'll just go through a small demonstration of one of the leading SAP Cloud products. Yeah. Just give me a second. I'll just share my screen. I hope that everyone is able to see my screen. So let's talk about why cloud ERP. So historically, as we have seen, ERP systems have delivered tremendous value to organizations, helping them boost productivity and then gain insights. But as we know, with the hello, am I audible, Nisha? Or
Yes, Kunal.
yeah. Okay. All right. But we know with the digitization curve, we know that the competition has changed drastically. So with the on-premise systems, just can't keep up with the pace that how the curve has been going on. So this is where the on-prem systems are very difficult to adapt to permanent changes. Most legacy ERP systems fail to deliver the speed, flexibility, and insights as rightly mentioned by Raji and Nilesh, that companies need to operate in new and more agile ways. So today, customers expect fast delivery of products and services, greater reliability, and lower costs. This is where cloud ERP, and with its advanced features and flexibility, is an essential ingredient for success in this digital age. So let's look at a couple of these key features. So also, or your SaaS supplier handles all your hardware and software installation. So you do not require any sort of dedicated IT team for installing and managing all your hardwares. Also, like consumer mobile applications, ERP business applications are very easy to configure, and the user interface is very intuitive, thus resulting in making use of these applications very fast and also very easy to learn. Another important aspect when it comes to cloud ERP is it's lower cost. So with a subscription service, there is no upfront cost that goes in for purchasing of the hardware of that ERP system. And also along with that, ongoing IT costs and also other staff related costs are reduced, because all your upgrades and maintenance are completely managed by the cloud provider. And as we know, cost savings is very significant. It's super significant, I would say, particularly when it comes to public cloud ERP deployment. And another important aspect when it comes to cloud ERP, it's continuous innovations. The reason being is many businesses adopt to cloud ERP not only to improve their operations, but also to change the way they have been using their business models, outdated business models and processes. And this is where they get a chance to revamp their entire business processes that are going on for ages, and introduce new capabilities to support their business best practices. So with cloud ERP, what you get is it not only improves your entire business process, and not only, I mean, speeds up not only your finance or accounting practices, but also brings business operations across your company and stabilizes it from a long-term perspective. Also, from a security standpoint, another important factor that you have to look at is with the cloud ERP, all your data backups, your data recoveries, or any sort of disaster management, all of that for your database is managed by your cloud by your cloud service provider itself. You do not need any sort of IT team to manage all of that. So these are one few of the key areas that one should look at when, I mean, adopting to a cloud ERP. And similarly, what are those factors, similar to what I just spoke earlier, what are those factors that one should consider selecting the cloud ERP? Is standardization, because as we know, with all the new cloud ERPs that are available in the market, especially SAP, what you get is proven best practices that come with it. So basically, with SAP's implementation experience across the globe for thousands of companies, they have built best practices for dedicated industries, which helps businesses to adopt these best practices and streamline their business processes and all. And similarly, security and trust, as I've spoken earlier, it is again an important aspect. So everything is managed by the cloud providers itself. Third and foremost, the most important thing is flexibility. As Raji and Nilesh were talking about, flexibility is it's an important aspect when selecting your right product. And this is where what you should expect from your cloud ERP is to have localized versions and also multi-language support. So the reason behind that is, with any growing organization, with companies that have offices across different geographies, it is the expectation would be that any cloud ERP that they would go for should have their local tax and compliance regulations out of the box of that specific ERP. And also multi-language support for such global organizations. Multi-language is again a key element when selecting the right product. Along with that, from an integration perspective, every business will have their own third-party products, their websites or any PLM products and whatnot, any sort of third-party systems. So the cloud ERP that we should be selecting should have those functionalities out of the box for integrating easily with the standardized APIs that are available in the market, and have that integration in place easily and seamlessly. And lastly, around innovations and scalability, this is where with each and every with each cloud ERP, what you with SAP specifically, what you get is quarterly or 6 monthly upgrades. This is where you are always on the latest version. Like you have upgrades in your mobile phones, you can all your upgrades are just managed by the service provider itself in the backend. You just have to I mean, there's no need for a dedicated IT team or a staff for doing all those patchwork and enhancement projects that go on for months and months and months. With cloud ERP, what you get is you're always on the latest version, and you get new innovations with every upgrade, and it just happens within a matter of few days. So moving on to the next slide, this is where I would like to introduce intelligent ERP. So the question is actually, how do you get there with this intelligent ERP? And this is what is offered by SAP. Basically, the two flagship cloud products, which is SAP Business by Design and SAP S4 HANA Cloud. So these two products are a complete connected and collaborative cloud ERP systems that are integrated across different functions of your organization and across every function that you can think of, starting from sales, purchase, supply chain, manufacturing, professional services, and whatnot. Along with that, what it also provides, they have built-in functions for intelligent technologies, including artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, machine learning, advanced analytics, and whatnot. So all of these features are embedded and are a part of your core ERP feature itself. So you don't have to go for other third-party providers for providing you, let's say, an RPA functionality or analytics functionality. Everything is built within the core itself. Also, just to name a few key features that you get is pre-configured best practices. Now, this is the most important feature that any company organization should look for to go with the standardized practice to overall to improve your business processes from from a holistic view. Similarly, real-time analytics, again, and a very important feature that comes with business by design and cloud itself. You get embedded analytics, which and you do not, there's no need for a dedicated business intelligence software that you have to pull data from your ERP, push data out, then accordingly have your data transformation mapping, creating new reports and whatnot. Everything is offered within the core. Also, it gives you continuous upgrades, quicker implementation times, as I've already mentioned, and with Cloud ERP, you get new innovations with every upgrade. So another important aspect is with your, let me just hide this. Sorry. Yeah, with your cloud ERP, what you should expect is all these basic scope high all these basic scope features. For example, areas for example, within procurement, areas such as procurement of direct materials, services, supplier management. All of this should come as a part of your core package. You should not have to look for other alternative options to manage this in third-party applications and then integrate it with SAP. So everything that you see on the screen, it's a package that you get with SAP Business by Design as well as with SAP S4 HANA Cloud. So anything from a sales perspective, what you get is sell from stock, services, rebates, whatnot. From a supply chain perspective, all your warehouse functions from inbound, outbound inventory, managing your entire inventory in real time. From manufacturing perspective, areas such as make to stock, make to order, quality and plant maintenance and whatnot. So all of these areas that you see would are offered within the core of your ERP system, and thus resulting in a very efficient and end-to-end integrated solution. Obviously, also key industry capabilities such as professional services, manufacturing are very strong suits when it comes to business by design as well as SAP S4 HANA Cloud. Yeah. So what I'll now do is, that's just enough of me talking about the features. I'll rather jump into the system. I'll showcase a small demonstration of SAP S4 HANA Cloud, what it offers, what are those key functions and features that are available, and I'll just walk you through that. Let me just switch to. Just give me a second. So I hope you guys are able to see my screen. I've just reshared it, and I'm sure that you should be able to see a dashboard of SAP S4 HANA Cloud. Just give me a second. I'll try to remove this from the view. So yeah, as you see here, this is a dashboard that's provided by SAP S4 HANA Cloud. So the way this works is you do not need any installation file. You do not need any setup to be done in your local machines. All you need is just a URL and a user ID password where someone can just log into the cloud system and just start doing that BAU activities. So it is as simple as just keeping this link in your bookmark and then just logging into your system. No need for any VPNs and whatnot. And since it's a true cloud ERP, you are able to access this from any device possible, be it your mobile phones, be it your iPads, or be it any system that you can think of. Yeah. So as you see here, this is the dashboard that SAP has provided. So SAP has completely changed the way in which you look at an ERP. Traditionally, you used to get all those installed softwares where there were a lot of nodes and whatnot. With the new cloud, SAP S/4HANA Cloud ERP, what you get is a complete app-based ERP, which is very similar to what you use in your mobile phone. So everything is now an application. So for every function, let's say if you want to run your trial balance report, you want to have a look at your purchase orders or create a supplier invoice, everything is an application. And what SAP has also done is uh, group these applications in logical way. So for example, I'm able to see all these groups here, which are nothing but that have the relevant applications within it. So for example, I've clicked on payments. Within payments, I see all the relevant applications of that are related to payments. So post outgoing payments, manage automatic payments and whatnot. Yeah. So obviously, depending on the access the user has, they would only be able to see those applications within the dashboard. And this dashboard is completely customizable. If let's say a user is from an AP team, they can just create a custom group. So this is something that I have created: procure to pay, general ledger, and so on. So I can create a group as an AP team. They can just select the relevant applications that they use on regular basis and have that application on their dashboard, and only that group of that, so that it is easier for them and not look for applications. Another most important tool feature that has changed the way the ERP is used is the search functionality. This is where we, with our experience of implementing SAP S/4HANA Cloud and also by design for our customers across different geographies, what we have seen is users have started relying on the search functionality very heavily. So for example, if someone wants to look for a supplier, or someone already has a purchase order in place, or they want to look for any specific journal entry document, or they have an invoice reference readily available. So this search functionality is exactly like your Google search. You put in your keywords, you hit the search button, and you'll be able to see everything that's related to those keywords. So for example, I type in Accelerate IT, which is one of the suppliers that I want to look for. So I just type in those keywords, click on the search button, and it will basically give me the results just like your Google search. So as you see here, within Accelerate IT, I have received 385 results. I'm able to see that Accelerate IT Ventures, this is the supplier code 1023119. Similarly, I can see journal entries posted for that specific supplier, and I can also see a quantity contract created for that supplier, as well as there is another supplier which is named as Accelerate IT Ventures Management, for example, which is, sorry, it's a customer, and so on. So within that also, if you see, I can also look for Accelerate IT, what are those journal entries, what are those supplier invoices. So the way the navigation, it has changed I mean, it has changed drastically. Obviously you will still have applications such as supplier invoice line items report and general ledger line item reports and whatnot, all those basic features, but this has completely changed the way on how you use your ERP. So for example, let's say if I want to have a look at this journal entry, I just click on it and it will directly navigate, take me to the manage journal entry application, which is nothing but display journal entry or FB03 if someone is from an ECC environment, for example. So you'll be able to see this here. Also, I can then navigate to multiple screens from the same screen itself. So if I want to have a look at what GL account is this, so I know this is a vendor reconciliation account for your supplier. So I can directly go to the line item report for this specific GL itself. So the entire navigation has changed drastically and it has become very intuitive to use. Also, another important feature, let's say I want to send this invoice or send this journal entry to one of my colleagues saying that, okay, please have a look at it. I think there's some issue with the amount or there's something incorrect. So the way we used to send this previously is send an email, or else if the colleague is now with global lockdown, since everyone is working from home, we know that we'll be sending this, calling them, okay, have a look at this journal entry, check this document and so on. So the way SAP has changed this feature is you get Copilot feature. Copilot is nothing but a chat messenger that is built within your ERP itself. So the way, let's say I want to ask one of my colleagues that, okay, have a look at this journal entry. I'll say new chat. I'll say add participant, go to select one of my colleagues ID. Obviously this is the SAP user ID. I'm able to see that within the chat box itself. I'll say invite and I'll say, uh, hi, please review this document. And I'll hit enter. obviously now since we are on this screen, SAP is intelligent enough to see that, okay, the current screen that's open is manage journal entries, and I can also see the journal entry number. So you can just click on the add button, say add object, and within that it is able to identify that, okay, on the current screen this is the journal entry and these are also the line items for that journal entry. So I can just select this journal entry, click on add, and this directly goes in the chat box itself. So when Prathamesh logs into onto the ERP system, within this chat box itself, he'll be able to see that, okay, he has received some message, like you see it in your WhatsApp or your messages on your mobile phones. And if he clicks on this specific link, it will directly navigate to the manage journal entry application. So very convenient, very easy to use. uh, Also, another important functions from an approval perspective, as we know that every organization will have its own approval matrix for purchase orders, invoices, payments, and whatnot. So what SAP has done is they have given an option within the dashboard itself, which is called as your notification center, like you have it in your mobile phones. There is a dedicated notification center. I'll be able to see all items that are sitting open in my inbox and to what are the items that I have to take an action to. So for example, I am an approver in one of the workflows. So I have received this notification saying, please approve this purchase order XYZ. So if I click on this, this will navigate to the My Inbox application, where as an approver, I'll be able to see the entire purchase order within the app itself. I do not have to navigate to a different application to look at the purchase order. Rather, I have enough information as an approver to just review it and click on the approve or the reject button. So for example, as you see here, this is the PO I can see for 55,000 USD, the product that we are procuring, and whatnot. If I further click on this line item, it will navigate to the details of the line item as well, so that the approver should not switch from application to application. Also, another important thing is not every approver is going to use the ERP on regular basis. So let's say a payments, someone from the treasury team who is responsible for approving bank payments, they are not going to log into this ERP every day. So what they get is they can just have this installed in their mobile phones. They'll be able to see all the approve actions that are sitting open in their inbox, and they can just take an action from a mobile phone itself. No need to log in or do anything. Obviously, email notifications are a very basic feature, that as soon as the purchase order is punched in, for example, an email notification will be triggered to the relevant approvers, as well as they'll see a notification here, and then accordingly there are options to approve, reject, forward this to a specific user if in case they want to get it peer reviewed by someone else, and so on. So something about work approvers. Another important feature, I'll just take 2 more minutes. Another important feature around embedded analytics that I've been talking about. So with your core ERP package with SAP S/4HANA Cloud, what you get is embedded analytics. So features such as dashboards for dedicated areas. So for example, accounts payable dashboard, which is one of the most busy area in any organization. You will see your payments team, AP team working on your invoices every day. And so for example, as a AP manager or as an AP accountant, you get access to this embedded analytics overview report, which gives you, it's a one-stop shop for having a look at your entire module. For example, if I'm an AP manager, I can see that for a specific company code, these are all the cards, which are again very customizable. You can just have the relevant cards as per your business process put in place to have to, so that every day, once anyone who logs in, they'll be able to have a look at what's the status. So for example, what are those parked invoices, what invoices are blocked, what are the value of that invoice, your days payable, indirect and direct outstanding, your aging reports, everything just at a single stop. So for example, that's my aging report. So further, if I want to drill down, I can just click on any of these items, which will navigate and take me to the line item report. So as you see, your blocked invoice charts or supplier with debit balances. If I click on any one of this supplier, it then navigates and takes me to a new application, which is the line item report of that supplier. And it will give me the details of all invoices that are, or details of the invoices where there is a debit balance. So the total debit balance is 82,000. And this is the combination of all your invoices. And within that, you have options to navigate to specific items, do take actions from the same screen itself. So very intuitive. a lot of things that are included here. I've just had to have some time to cover this. Obviously, we can have detailed sessions around dedicated applications from individual business areas, be it GL, AP, AR, or manufacturing, or supply chain, and whatnot. And we can have detailed sessions if or on request basis. So this a small demonstration. I'll now hand it over to Nishta to go ahead with the next course of the webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kunal, for this very detailed and in-depth tour of the Cloud ERP offering from SAP. For those of you wanting to understand how Cloud ERP can help your organization's particular needs and objectives, wait for a very exciting announcement at the end of today's session. So now the stage is all set for the next section. So let's begin with the next section of the webinar. This is going to be all about how businesses can automate, adopt robotic process automation, leverage on business technology platform to mature into truly digital enterprises. An industry expert from SAP, Mr. Hemant Raj, Senior Director, Product Success, SAP Process Automation, will be taking us down that road. Please note your questions for our experts are welcome in the Q&A box below. Over to you, Hemant.
Thank you very much, Nishta. I would like to take over the screen and share my screen. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. In fact, when Nilesh talked about the operational efficiency and bringing those automation to the finance processes, it gives us the little insight that how manual, repetitive, and rule-based tasks in an organization day to day are a hindrance for our colleagues in different departments, where if they would like to focus more time, right, like as an entity, if we look at, is very limited or as a limited resource. So these colleagues, right, whether they are in finance, procurement, sales, IT, if we want to give them more time for looking at the intelligence task, looking at the higher value added task, then we have to take some of the manual repetitive work which they today. And that's exactly what automation and digitalization does when we apply this automation to business processes. And we can apply it across the spectrum of the function. And it's not restricted to any industry or, for example, any specific function or area. We can apply it anywhere. The challenges which process automation addresses goes beyond the basic productivity improvement. So basic productivity improvement is given the moment we apply a word automation. We all of us understand that it is going to save the time. Whether I apply automation in my home, whether I apply automation in my business, right? It is going to help us improve the efficiency. That's given. But beyond that as well, the process automation help address a lot of challenges. How? So let us look at some of the concrete examples. So here is a company into the energy sector, which had a challenge where there were 60 business users sending the accrual information to finance team every month end closing, and 6 finance operation colleagues of them, 4 days, they were continuously just doing a ping pong of the email to get the information correct, then manually collate the monthly closing data and post it into the system, right? Now, as a business, if all of us know that month-end closing is a core business process, which all of us go through. But if we discuss with our finance colleague, we will know that how painful the process is, how stressful the process is, where the data gathering, collection, and then posting is an issue. But it's manual, repetitive, and important task. So we cannot leave it. And that's where they implemented the process automation. They realized the benefit. So whatever was done in 24% days in a month actually reduced to a 10-minute task when they applied the process automation in their organization, right? So not only productivity, but it also reduces the stress. It improves your employee engagement so that they can start focusing on the higher value tasks, right? And if we look at how it helps in other areas, so I have also a case study where for one of the mid-sized company who entered into a healthy snack category, they were quickly scaling and growing. So as an organization, when their distributions, when their retailer network was growing across the India, they had this challenge that the sales orders which were coming on a portal, they have to manually collect that and then process into the S4HANA, right? Now, this is again a complete manual exercise which they were doing. Beyond that, the payment reconciliation with these distributors, retailers were also manual in nature. With help of process automation, they completely created a low-touch sales order process end-to-end, where right from the moment the sales order comes, whether it comes in a web portal, whether it comes in an email, the robotic process automation picks it up, posts it into the system. If there are some challenges, it notifies back to the sender that this is the challenge or this is the error, and this is how complete loop is closed. Beyond that, when the payment claim come from distributor or retailer for the promotions or various incentives which are run, then those are also automatically processed into the system using the process automation, right? So it's a completely giving that ability to any business to automate processes surrounding SAP or non-SAP application as well. And for non-SAP application, I have an example of a retail footwear chain in India, where they are present across many cities with the footprint of a retail operation in the footwear space. They had a challenge where they had a system which was completely non-SAP, and the account payable process, as we saw as well, that account payable as an invoice management is one of the key processes in the procurement organization. They had a challenge. It was manually getting processed, and it was taking a lot of time in the manual errors because the entry is getting incorrect. So that's where they utilize the process automation capability to automate the account payable process in a non-SAP environment. So from a technology point of view, the SAP process automation capability works across SAP or non-SAP applications. And what we have seen is that there are certain quick win use cases. And as a business where we are running these automations across different industries, running this across different functions, what we have gathered here, and if you can see also on the screen, these are some of the quick win use cases, like in finance, financial closing, payment reconciliation, like simple bank statement upload onto the system, which is a mundane repetitive task, which can be done by the robot or the process automation automatically, mimicking the business users, right? Instead of a person doing such manual activity, robots can do that. Procurement, similarly, account payable, we discussed the use case, but purchase requisition creation, vendor onboarding, all these are repetitive tasks which can be easily automated using the process automation. And you start realizing the benefit or ROI from the day one. What does it mean is that, say, you take 2 or 3 weeks to implement a process automation. The day it goes live, you start realizing the benefit because it frees up the time. It gives more extra capacity to your business to scale and grow, right? Because human resources are limited for every organization. And if you want to free up capacity, you want to scale and grow, want them to focus, we have to have automation in place. To accelerate further your journey as a SAP, we also have created a lot of pre-built content. So these pre-built bot templates are across different lines of business, like say, for example, finance, procurement, manufacturing. So you can utilize this pre-built capability as well to quickly go live, customize it as per your requirement, and utilize it. There is an example, right? A company called Rehau. They are into the manufacturing, a mid-market company, where they utilize the pre-built bot with S4HANA Cloud. 12 bots they have utilized, pre-built with S4HANA Cloud, and they realized the ROI in 1 month, right? So that's the beauty of this process automation, where you start realizing the benefit also very quickly and start getting the ROI as well very quickly. It's no longer, as I think at the start we talked about, as any cloud solution. This is also a cloud-based solution where implementation time is not long, right? You can start and get live very quickly, right? This process automation capability is part of SAP Business Technology Platform. So as a BTP, which is our platform as a service, offers ready-to-use technology capability, including process automation, including application development, etc. Right? So this is a complete capability available as part of the BTP, which complements your journey towards the digital transformation, accelerates your journey with ready-to-use these technologies, which can be easily implemented, and you start realizing the benefit from day one. Right? With this, let me play a short video about what is process automation, so that we understand the product as well.
SAP Process Automation is a simpler, faster way to enhance business efficiency and agility with confidence. It combines workflow management and robotic process automation with visual tools that require no coding expertise. Businesses benefit from built-in artificial intelligence to recognize and extract information from invoices, purchase orders, and other document types. Building new processes starts with creating an automation, a form, or a process workflow. Users may also elect to use pre-built content. The process editor is an intuitive, no-code, and powerful visual tool for defining, adapting, and improving process workflows. This workflow starts with a request form, followed by a management approval. Completing a workflow may involve adding conditional branches, automations, a second workflow, or content from a library. The form editor uses a simple drag-and-drop approach to incorporate text, number and date fields, as well as drop-down menus and checkboxes. Many business processes include steps where a user would be copying information between documents or applications. For those steps, a software robot can be programmed to either assist the user with the completion of the task or complete it independently. The robots, or bots, mimic the tedious manual clicks, copying, and pasting required. They can extract information from documents with the help of artificial intelligence and copy values between applications and browser windows or send notification messages. Programming bots is a simple matter of dragging component steps to the canvas and filling in the details. In this example, a bot opens the email application, prepares and sends an email, and then closes the application. For business applications where a programming interface, an API, is available, IT staff can expose it as a library object that users can add to process workflows. These make it easy for users to do things like create a purchase requisition or update a customer record. To automate faster, users can jumpstart projects with a broad set of pre-built content in the Process Automation Store. This includes hundreds of industry-specific bots, workflows, and components for interacting with SAP and third-party applications. SAP Process Automation includes a complete dashboard for managing and tracking your workflows and automations. Use SAP Process Automation to build workflows and automate tasks with no need for coding. Automate faster with pre-built content and operate confidently on a trusted enterprise-grade multi-cloud platform. Want to learn more? Visit sap.com.
So thanks a lot. That's all from my side. I'm happy to take any questions as well later. Nishta, over to you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Hemant, for sharing all these success stories and this incredible video with all of us. I'm sure this information was very helpful for everyone present here. I'll just start my screen share again. Before we move on, I'd request the audience to help us know which function do you see most applicable to process automation in your organization. Kindly answer the poll popping on your screens. Much appreciate your responses. Thank you so much. Now, I'm sure all these discussions must have raised a plethora of questions in your mind. Is cloud ERP applicable to me? How will it benefit my business specifically? How much would it cost and can my business afford it? How am I going to recover the investment? Don't worry, we've got you all covered. Remember how I told you there's something very special for our participants? Well, now's the time to reveal it. Persevere brings you a one-on-one discovery workshop with our domain experts absolutely free of cost. This workshop will encompass of numerous business discovery sessions, which will provide you with an assessment report of the right cloud ERP solution for your business. You will find out about the specific benefits of cloud ERP for your business, an investment estimate, along with the returns on that investment. Above all, these discussions will empower you with a complete digital transformation roadmap. Reach out to us today. We are very eager to do a digital transformation discovery process for mutual growth with you. Now let's proceed with the Q&A session. If you haven't shared your questions yet, I request the audience to please drop them in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. The panelists will be taking over now to answer your queries. We already have a few questions that came in during the session of the webinar. The first question is to Mr. Kunal. Mr. Vishal says, we've heard SAP Business by Design is capable of managing similar business requirements as SAP S/4HANA Public Cloud. What are the parameters that guide us to select the right product?
Thank you, Nishtha and Vishal for that question. Basically, how it works is, as I was just talking about that in in one of the slides. Public cloud and business by design are true multi-tenant products. However, the way we basically select the right product for the customer is depending on the sizing metrics based on the volume of transactional data that each company has, and which accordingly plays a very key role in determining that what product is the correct fit for them. So for example, for any upper mid-market company which is rapidly growing, and companies that are doing large acquisitions, this is where this would be an ideal fit for SAP S/4HANA Cloud, which comes with more additional features as compared to what you get with by design. Although with companies such as which are small and mid-sized companies and are also growing, this is where business by design would be a better fit for them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer, Kunal. I hope it answered Mr. Vishal's query. Now, the next question we have is for Mr. Hemant. Mr. Manvinder asks, how is SAP process automation different from other RPA tools in the market?
Yeah, I think very valid question, and we get this question again and again. But when we look at the SAP process automation, some of the key capabilities which it brings on the table is unique connectors towards the SAP tech stack. So we have some connectors for SAP Fiori application, for SAP GUI, for SAP SuccessFactors, for SAP Ariba. So these makes us unique in terms of the technology differentiation where when you are automating any process surrounding SAP application, SAP process automation is the best tool in the market. The second differentiation it brings is the ability to do the things faster. We have done anonymous benchmark with other tools wherein SAP process automation, when it automates, it's 8 to 10 times faster than other tools in the market. So a robot finishing your task 8 to 10 times faster than any other tool. You need less resources, does your improvement on the processes much more faster and can handle much more volume, right, with the same number of robots working. So it brings that capability. Third, if we look at, we have the pre-built content. Now, these are coming as a best practice content, which are free of cost. When you start using SAP process automation, you get access to this content, pre-built templates, which can further accelerate, right? So it saves your little bit on the implementation side efforts so that you can go accelerate and quickly go live, right? Like as a process. On the fourth side, SAP Business Technology Platform as a platform as a service is a unique in itself. Why? Because you get the complete packaged services which can be used for any of your use cases around automation. Wherein the other pure play players, let's take an example of pure play RPA player. They have only RPA technology. Or we look at workflow player. They have only workflow capability. Wherein with SAP process automation, you get all these capabilities in a single platform, right? So you have the complete suite of technology which help you automate processes across variety of use cases, complex, medium complex, across SAP and non-SAP landscape. As I gave the example, where as a customer was on Oracle and they automated the account payable processes, right? So the technology, the content, as well as on the commercial side, it's very competitive offering. So all three combined reduces your total cost of automation and operations and helps you generate the ROI quickly. So that's how it is different from other tools in the market.
Thank you so much, Hemant, for that very detailed and descriptive answer. I'm just waiting for a moment to see if there are any new questions coming in. All right. So there's one question. We are using SAP version 3. Whether any updates have come in the market?
Hello, hi, I think this would be for me. So version 3, if I'm not wrong, you're referring to the older versions of ECC, if I'm not wrong. So for now, I think what SAP has done is they have confirmed that they'll be only supporting ECC until 2020, end of 2024, if I'm not wrong. Obviously, all of that information is readily available on SAP's website. So as next steps, what SAP recommends themselves is to move to SAP S/4HANA Cloud. So as cloud, again, within cloud, we have two deployment options, which is one is a public cloud for the demo that we saw earlier, and the other option is SAP private cloud, which is more for large enterprises and who. But again, it's a complete cloud product. Private cloud is where they would be the entire server hosting would be managed by SAP, but it would be dedicated for that specific customer. But just to summarize the answer, yeah, so version 3, there are no further updates. The last option, I mean, the future option is to move to S/4HANA Cloud.
All right. Thanks for that response, Kunal. There's one question that this is the last question we'll be taking today. Is SAP Cloud also need the systems validation for pharma?
Yeah, so I think from a pharmaceutical industry, what SAP provides is there are, as I mentioned, SAP has designed industry best practice solutions for various industries: professional service, discrete manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and whatnot. So for yes, so SAP S/4HANA Cloud has its own industry standard for pharmaceutical companies, which has all different features starting from your make to order, make to stock, and all those scenarios. So you have a dedicated configurational options available from a pharmaceutical industry as well. So yeah, to answer that, yes, all of that is available.
Okay, all right.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Kunal and Hemant, for duly answering all these questions raised. We have a few more questions coming in, but we will answer them separately via email. So we'll reach out to all of you. There were truly valuable and interesting takeaways from this session. Thank you everyone for being a part of this event. Today's event would not have been possible without the active participation of all our esteemed speakers and, of course, the attendees. I would like to thank each and every one of you again for taking the time out to be here today. Have a great day, take care, and stay safe.